Hello and welcome. Welcome to Drakenmemoria. Yay! I know we're a little bit late. I've been having difficulties with some of my material, and it's the reason that I'm giving. So, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us. In case you're wondering what this is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons, or more specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. And don't worry, the camera is not supposed to stay empty for long. Audience has warned us that he's going to be just a little late because he's dealing with an injury. Don't know if it's his injuries or someone else's injury. But
I think it's probably someone else.
Well, you want to hope for either, because it's not fun if it's someone else that is injured, but also it's not fun if it's our player that is injured. So, how do you hope for the best? Alright, so, like I said, it's a group of people playing Dungeons & Dragons. So if this is not something you want to watch, well, YouTube and Twitch gives you alternative, either to the right or to the left. Pick one, and we hope you'll have a pleasant evening. For everyone else who actually wants to be here, back from a previous session, or here for the first time, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us. We hope you'll have a pleasant whatever moment of the day it is where you are. And if you're in outer space, well, I don't know what's the measurement you're using, so pleasant whatever it is.
Tatu Barada Dicta?
Yeah, makes sense. And yeah, that's about it. That's everything we can say about this. If you like the ambiance in the background, no, it's not static. It's supposed to be rain and thunder. I don't know why. It's having a little bit of difficulty with the volume. And for some reason the random is weird, because it's just rain. There's almost no thunderstorm. There's supposed to be a little bit of thunder in there. Battle maps are provided by Dungeon Alchemist and world map by Wonderdraft. And that is all the publicity. I know I didn't have to say it all, but, just in case they make change to their policies. That way, we don't have to shut down the stream. And that's it. Unless anyone else has publicities to do, now is your time. Otherwise, we start.
Do you have stomach pain that is entirely caused by a lack of food inside? Have you tried eating?
That is always a very good idea.
I got my new CPU, just no thermal paste. Tomorrow.
So you want us
That's
to
all
eat
my
your
sponsors
CPU?
for today. Yeah, send me thermal paste, everybody.
I've got some left over.
I'm getting some tomorrow, though.
Yes, we've been hearing it for the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I was burping. Just sucking on thermal paste. I should die here in a couple minutes.
Reminds me of kindergarten.
Nice! I see you. You like living dangerously. Alright. So, without further delay, let's start. Alright, so what happened last episode? Well, the party engaged the enforcers, tyrannizing the town of our adventurers had found themselves in. Good lord, that was hard to read. The fight seemed to unfold in favor of our heroes. However, as combat progressed, it became apparent it was only because no mistake were possible, and fortunately none had been made so far. A single slip-up and dire consequences would have followed. Scared of the increased chances of slipping, the party eventually retreated. Also with varying success. Before the night was over, however, the past caught up with the group and darker chapters of some of the party members, notably Fisher, were revealed, but also the party's guide, Civ, a construct that has been following them ever since they got on the island. They had met before, but was acting as their guide. And so now, with this new information and possibly problematic elements that this might bring to the adventure, having been discovered, having been identified, having been flagged as people who actually destroyed enforcers, well, the party will need to deal with these elements. I was hoping Sam would be there by the time I finished this, because I'm sure he was going to be the most vocal about some things, but hey.
Now we can't. Ha! Got him.
Alright, so this is always useful.
So we just got out of the gate. We're running at this moment, right?
No, actually that happened just a little bit before we ended.
Okay.
Yes, you did run out of the gate right after Civ destroyed the gate, which had been completely locked down. And he used Krill to create a barrier to prevent the enemy from catching up
Following
with
us.
you. And this is the first time that you can actually... that you've started seeing the full capabilities of Krill, because so far, outside of these islands, Civ seemed to only have used Krill to generate his swords. But in the island, it does look like Krill has considerably more powerful advantages and tools to use. Which also begs the question, are the others with colored symbiont just as dangerous as Civ? You've seen that the symbiont seem to have its own will, its own initiative, and you've seen the enforcers mid-battle, without using what would feel like a reaction, be able to simply shift their weapons toward a shield, a spear, a sword, and just roll with it and keep on going. And so far, outside of the islands, Civ seemed to only be able to do the same thing, but now that you've seen more, greater extent, in some ways, even for you, George, you can see familiarities with some spells that you have, except his seems to all be crystal based. So you have a comparison of maybe how powerful these entities might be. The wall that he generated was very similar to a wall of stone, just all crystals.
Mm-hmm.
So you all left the station running, and when you stopped running, you turn your attention to the fact that Sachet completely froze, became completely panicked at the sight of Civ. And when you managed to coax the explanation out of her, she explained to you just how brutal and savage these enforcers can be, but also that Civ, at one point, was the most imaginative enforcer they had, and created tactics which can give nightmares to most people. Then Fisher tried to calm Sachet by explaining to her how this works. The awakening of a construct. How their mind suddenly turns on and they become self-aware. For some, it's really just like a switch, but for some, it's long. And
It's like fluorescent lights. You hit the switch and then it blinks a lot really fast before it finally turns on.
for some, it's even probably closer to a neon light. It flickers before. Which probably was how it was for Civ. Possibly for him, it lasted hundreds of years. Being forced to use his imagination
That's what I was hoping for.
to create these awful ways of controlling through terror.
Just to let everybody know, I knew exactly what happened. I just asked so it would take more time. So
Yes, of course.
That-
Of course.
You know what they say about you know what they say about like work and doing what you love.
Well,
Mm-mm.
apparently from the end of the story that Sachet said, Civ might not have loved his work as much. Ending his long career of terrorizing people, screaming, "I will not yield," and then escaping, after having obliterated all of the enforcers that had come with him.
And an excellent pension plan.
Yeah, you leave.
he has a golden watch now, a pocket watch.
No, he has a significant amount of money tied to his name, and the
Yeah.
contract is called Dead or Alive.
And recognition. Pension recognition. Like, he'll be remembered at the company forever.
And so, Fisher shared his own story of awakening, his own dark story of awakening. You probably kept on walking for as long as you could to take advantage of as much light as you could, because things get dark very soon where you are. And soon, Sachet once again insisted that you all get off the main road and make camp outside of the road. One thing you do realize quickly is she seems to be preparing herself very well. And she's starting to prepare not only the encampment, but protection and service. You probably, Remy, recognize some of the incantation, some of the ritual that she's using. She is placing an alarm spell all around the perimeter. She's even placing it in a way that covers what's above you, by placing the small wire inside of a long silken cloth that she simply uses to create the outline of a dome But you recognize the wire. You know that it is an alarm. She will know if something enters. And it is a little bigger than the tiny hut. You also recognize that she casts Unseen Servant and ask this servant to scout out the area and bring back some firewood, as I'm sure it's much cozier with a little fire in the center of this bubble. If you don't do anything, she will also eventually start preparing a tiny hut. But if you want to prepare it, she will let you prepare it. But while she is doing all of this, you have this moment alone among all of you. You can detach from the group and try and talk to her. You know what ritual casting is. You will interrupt her, and it will take longer to prepare things, but eventually it'll still give the same result. Or you can all stay there and stare at Fisher, who's just revealed his own story and the gruesome elements of it.
I lightning bolt Fisher 2 times in a row. No, sorry, that's from. Sorry, I picked that up from a.
That was
from
from the
Remy's
one
campaign.
shot you did yesterday. Don't miss.
I think Toby and I were messing with.
The robot parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have a background also while you're doing this, looking at this, and then everyone occasionally staring at Fisher, wanting to ask question, or staring at Sachet, wanting to ask questions. Depending on who you are. I'm sure audience has reasons to look at both.
Yep.
So, for the result of the roll, because I remember you rolled natural 20, Fisher, throughout all of this, and possibly while being interrupted with questions from others, which we will get to in a moment, what you will figure out about what you have, the sphere itself is severely damaged. You already both went over the sphere, and there's not a lot more to deduce from it. You could probably use this to try and map out the enchantment inside. Maybe eventually try to duplicate this, or just bring it to the garden hoping... Yes?
We also have the Civi unit parts.
Yes, I will get to this one right after. I remember, because I thought about it all week, about what you might learn from a natural 20. So, the sphere itself, you get the feeling that the sensory equipment is very sophisticated and probably has 360-degree vision, which really makes it hard to sneak by and try to attack it in an angle that it can't see. You get a feeling that it has a good reserve of energy, so it can probably cast all of those nasty spells it has several times, enough to be excessively annoying. Even more so if they are in groups. Because now when they are in groups, they can simply just cover each other.
It's wild.
There's no indication of what Civ meant by don't let 3 of them corner you. But maybe that's just because it was too severely damaged. The part of the leg, of mostly the knee assembly of the unit that was torn apart, there are some elements which are still present, which allows you to figure a few things out. The symbiote inside takes all the place. There's no room inside. There are a lot of enchantment there, so it is mostly an animated machine construct. The symbiote not only acts as muscle would, but the way that it's made, you get the feeling that it is also adding to the structural integrity of the machine. Meaning that although the damage can seem severe from the outside, the way that its armor has been destroyed, the symbiont is actually holding everything inside. Enough that it can take more damage than it looks. In other word, it'll look worse than it actually is because of the symbiont. But with this level of connection, you can also surmise that the symbiont can probably take over if the unit stops functioning. And for you, Fisher, you have this moment of thinking about it and realizing that, oh, alright. So that's probably something similar to you and Tyrannad. Because although it hasn't happened yet, one thing that Fisher probably has realized, if not, well, you're about to realize it, you're immune to being forcefully put unconscious. If you're unconscious because you reach zero hit point, you fall, but Tyrannad takes over if you're unconscious in any other way. You get the feeling that the symbiont can probably act the same way as Tyrannad would.
Like backup systems. Backup brain.
Yeah, or a very effective way of shackling someone into servitude, forcing them to act. But seeing the level of development of these enforcers, especially the millies, you don't have the impression that they're being forced into doing a whole lot. Their intelligence seems to be very rudimental. So this is what you learn from a natural 20.
Cool.
So audience, who's sponsoring us tonight?
I don't know.
Broken leg syndrome. Somebody got injured.
Broken leg syndrome.
Close. Broken ankle.
I have broken legitis. Ow. Not yours, I presume?
Well,
No,
no.
not mine.
He was
Not
walking
mine.
to get his
Nice.
bag of food, so...
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Are you constantly worried about breaking your ankylosaurus?
Is Sam breaking your ankle?
Does it make you late to D&D? Well, you should probably call the hospital.
Are you tired of paladins divine smiting your ankles so that you can't escape?
I feel like that's a war cry.
Yeah. Alright, so this is what you will learn from your investigation of what remains of the mostly knee, but a bit of the thigh.
And I'm presuming me and Fisher are working through this since I gave him assistance or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. You're both doing, oh, this is interesting. Oh, look, there. It's also connected to the inside of the armor. Oh, interesting. Pretty sure it could probably take over movement if it had to.
All right.
And so, you still have a little bit of time. Sachet is preparing a whole slew of spell to protect this place. Even some that you don't know what they are. Best guess, however, she has access to ritual spells that are higher than the best you can do right now.
How long has it been since we left town?
You probably walked maybe an hour more, so Probably about that. An hour, somewhere between an hour and a half. So you went off road and went far enough to create a camp that wouldn't be easily be seen from the road.
10 hour and a half.
Oh yeah, audience, do you have any more of those like knockout beads?
No. Remy, I think, has one.
Okay. Well, it probably just keep a note. It probably won't work on a Civ unit because if you try and knock them out, then the symbiote should be able to take over.
What?
Okay.
Didn't you say that? Well, I'm guessing that we talked about it. Didn't you say that you're also immune to it? Since I mean,
no one knows.
Not a Civ unit.
No one knows if Fisher is immune to it. But Civ did say that it wouldn't work on any unit more complex than a melee.
Okay.
He just didn't explain
Yeah.
why.
Ah,
But we're not going to test it because we only have one left. It's
yeah.
not
And
worth testing.
we could try to put Fisher to sleep.
I don't know why we even do that. I'm debating, do you think we should wait till morning to call Civ, or should we call him tonight to see if he's okay?
We should probably call Con, right? Did I say that right?
Calm.
I think
Calm?
we should
Calm.
wait till morning.
No, we shouldn't call Con at all, I don't think.
Okay.
Because I don't want him to be caught. Right now, you have to remember that town's probably like crawling with guards. Like,
Yeah.
he's trying to keep a low profile. We don't want to do anything to draw attention to him. I think, honestly, we shouldn't call him for a while. I think we need to let everything calm down at least like a couple days. He's probably just going to keep a low profile and stay low. But we should call Civ.
Yeah. Tomorrow then. I don't
Okay.
think like right now is a good time.
Alright. Alright, we'll wait till tomorrow then.
Oh fuck my headset.
Yeah, I guess we should figure out a. Are you just gonna take Watch Fisher, or do you need to? Are you gonna try and sleep tonight?
No.
No.
Yes. I'm taking. I'll be on watch.
Okay,
Oh,
you'll
for
be
the-
on watch.
for the
Okay.
rest of
I think we have some charms being. Or it seems like the Shay is doing something. I don't know what she's doing, but I assume it's helpful.
Remy gives a thumbs up.
Yeah, what she's doing is helpful. So I think we'll be good. Try and get to sleep tonight, and then we'll probably try and get as much progress as we can away from that town by, tomorrow, in case they start sending out search parties. So
Sounds good. Fisher, for the rest of our evening until we go to bed, do you want to try to study these glyphs or whatever they are?
What are you talking about?
On the orb. The enchantments on the inside.
Oh.
I'm not really good with magic stuff, but I could put on my mask and see if that helps.
Yeah, is there anything... Yeah, is there anything more, like, to learn?
Like I said, no, your natural 20 encompassed everything. The orb, you had already did very good research on it. So even with a natural 20, it's only giving you a few clues more. Like, alright, you realize that the power supply in these orb are significant. So they probably have enough energy to be very annoying for a very long fight. And even more so if they're in groups, because they will just keep protecting one another or whatever they're there to protect. Basically, if you have more than 2, they can probably shut down any magic users.
And this is the one that we grabbed from the library, right? The one that was taken or stolen, we assume?
no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was too badly damaged to figure out how they were able to do that.
Yeah. But what Draken said, like, right before everything else that he told us about the other Civi unit parts is that we could study it some more At least the enchantments on the inside some more, not the actual like robot itself or the actual orb itself.
Basically, you could take notes and try at a
Yeah.
later moment to duplicate this.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Then-
just give some research that the garden would most likely pay you.
Yeah, that's
To
what I was
exchange.
suggesting.
Okay, yeah. Then I'd be down for that.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do that.
And then are we setting up like a hut, like so we
That's
can't
what
get attacked?
Sachet is doing
Okay.
currently, I believe.
All right. I will. Well, I guess I'll take watch until we go to bed, and then you can take over, Fisher. While you
All right.
guys are studying that. So, audience, I'll go and take watch. Oh, you know what I'll actually do?
Yeah?
What I'm actually going to do, because we're in the wilderness now, I'm going to summon Magna to help keep watch,
Oh.
because we'll be in the wilderness for a bit, so I can actually summon Magna.
I'll summon Frel.
We could also summon our boy.
We could.
We could do all the summoning.
What? Yeah, we should probably do that.
The menagerie is appearing one after the other.
Party size just doubles. Who had Raimi?
Raimi
has
does.
the Seed,
Raimi
right?
does. Yeah.
But look, if Ravi is going to be doing this, like, he hopes this will help. As Ravi just like goes over to a bit of soil, pulls out a watering can, and unless I'm misremembering, like, please correct me, Draken. But it's like Rami's going to say "ok" and start pouring it over the soil. And then he will put the acorn in it.
All right. So. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Interesting.
Because he remembers the last time that he summoned Ornak and just like, maybe we can make this a more
Man was
positive
looking a little
experience.
sick. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you get a few nutrients while he's growing. So the first that appear, obviously, is Magna, and well, it's a large beast, so it attracts attention, and most likely exactly what audience wanted, because of course it's gonna draw the attention of Sachet while she's preparing all of this, and have this moment of, where's that coming from?
It's
Ladies
my
love cats.
so did never mind. All right. It's my mount and my friend Magna. I can summon.
Wow,
Her.
that destabilized the audience. She has a...
It's his pussy wagon.
She...
You know, that's not what the joke was, but you can see why. Yeah.
you can see in audience's eyes the fuck you guys stare. Well, Sachet has this little moment of, my God, my lord, that's I've actually never tried to summon something to move.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's in my book somewhere, but I've never actually tried it.
Well, you can at some time. You might get a cool snow leopard like Magna.
Let's see.
Although I don't know if Cuddles would get jealous.
I was hoping it was a... Oh. Alright. Well, that's very useful in the middle of winter.
Yes, and just for keeping watch and moving around and lots of things.
Wow. So maybe you didn't you didn't really need my rings. Um,
No, we still did. They're definitely useful.
all right. Well, okay, I'll have to take this into consideration with the alarm.
Yep. Just so you're also not surprised, we are also about to summon a tree friend of ours.
Because it's about a minute and Remy did plant the acorn as audience was summoning it. Probably just as you say this, you hear we went from poop to diarrhea.
He's a character. Audience will finish.
You know what? Maybe we should do that before summoning him, right? Because that's what like fertilizers.
You
made
mean
out of,
create
right?
manure?
Yeah. So next time, in addition to doing the watering, somebody just, take a dump on it.
I was gonna say, you just want me to shit on the acorn?
I'll keep it in
Or
mind.
is that how plants work?
I'll keep it in mind, fishing.
I mean, yeah, we
Maybe
could
actually,
use manure or dead fish. We could also mix some soil with dead animals.
Do we have any eggshells
Whatever.
to get to?
Yeah, eggshells, seashells.
So you really don't have any idea how this works. Is that what I'm understanding?
Oh, I know exactly how this works. Okay.
Yeah,
Listen,
of course.
we're trying
real
to
life.
give you a better experience.
I used to work
Yeah,
on a
well,
farm.
at least now I have leaves, so thank you for that. But that was too much water. Ah.
Oh, you can blame Remy.
Note to self: add more
maybe he
water.
looks genuinely sad.
Try to help.
Maybe you used half of that amount. It's really, just look at the floor. It's all muddy now. I've been coming out of this, so. And he spits
Alright,
out a
so we need to
piece
get-
of mud.
I will also mention we're kind of in hiding right now, so we're trying to not draw attention to ourselves before you go on a rant about soil.
He looks around for a
So,
moment.
And
I think it's too late. She's looking at us as if something bad happened.
No, she's a friend. That's Sachet. Also,
Something bad did happen.
Cuddles is also a friend. I don't know if you can see Cuddles.
He hasn't arrived yet. I warned you
I don't
that he
know if
will
he's
be
still
arriving somewhere.
She also has a friend called Cuddles who
I think you might like him.
who might look weird to you. I don't know. He looks like a puppet to us, but he's a friend as well.
Great.
He's got a very similar vibe to your handkerchief.
Oh, yeah, no.
And he can actually act on it.
Well, at
You
least.
might like your handkerchief, actually.
Well, I like it. I don't know about him. I haven't seen him anywhere. You hear this little voice of Seshena. You have intriguing friends. Mass murderers. Talking plants.
Yeah, we've been around a bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
I bet. And you've all seen the world outside. Now, all of this happens regularly out there, or it's
No,
It's just
we just have really bad luck.
Well, for Osh, kind of. For most people, no.
Or good luck, if you want to see it that way, I guess.
well, it definitely helps for having friends at the table. You hear Ogonak go, yeah, table. What are you making your table out of? Don't worry. I wasn't trying to say. I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it. I hope
He's also our smaller tree friend. We actually have a larger tree friend that sometimes comes too, but very rarely.
This is like the one time that we're not glad he didn't come. We're not glad he. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
No, we are glad that he didn't come.
Yeah.
Hey, oh no, can you grow? Why did I say it like that? Can you grow in a pot? Or does it have to be a huge pot?
You go from one subject to the other, huh? One of them insults me, and then there's a questions, and then there. I thought we settled that before.
I wasn't there if we did.
Except for you, and he points at you, Jorg. I thought we were friends. Come on.
We are.
Yeah, sure. You're my friend,
yeah.
just because I like better your other friend. Mm-hmm.
Can you grow in a pot? I'm genuinely curious. I don't know if we settled this before. It probably wasn't there.
I think. I don't need a whole lot of ground below.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I'll note that down.
Try to take a sizable planter if you're trying to do this. Don't
Okay.
make me grow out of a small cooking pot, you know?
Yeah.
Could we get a mini you if we did?
Yeah, would you be smaller?
You just be
That's the only
malnourished
thing.
and sad.
He looks at you, audience. I know what you're trying to imply.
I don't know what I'm trying to imply. I'm asking a simple question.
Anyways, audience, do you think someone should go check on Sashay? She's kind of shaking and stuff like that, you know.
She's doing ritual spells, Toby. Don't you know
You
that
could
ritual
still
spells
talk-
take more time if
You could talk to her.
interact with them?
No, okay. You could talk to her. Tell her that she can't talk back. Okay. This is the perfect opportunity.
Okay. That still makes it really hard to concentrate.
Yeah.
Guess we got all night here, though.
Yes, we're gonna go to bed soon once the
Yeah.
alarms are setting up. Also, I'm also taking watch, Toby. I don't know if you remember that. I'm observing.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
He's been doing this entire conversation while looking the other direction.
Sorry, I mean, we've been working on the freaking orb and everything, so, you know.
Oh,
Also, Toby, I not now, but I have to have a conversation with you at some point about how you were trying to take me away from the fight and say that's what you thought I would want.
Well, yeah, that's what you guys were talking about for a long time. We gotta stay focused on the mission, not just fucking put our life in danger by doing what we did earlier. Like, Civ had to come save us again.
Okay, but there's also a difference between that and leaving a girl to be tortured and killed.
It won't. She'll survive. I mean, I've been tortured and blown up. What? You don't think humans
She
are
would
strong
not
enough?
have- I
Were
think
you a
that,
child when it happened?
I just might well have been. Okay, you know.
No, you weren't. You were a grown monk
Wasn't it
with
like
training.
6 months ago?
Anyways,
How old are you right now?
anyways.
Alvenak turns to you, Remy. Is it me, or has the group gone a little bit wild since last time I was here? What happened? I mean,
We've been under a lot of pressure lately.
Jorg has been insinuating that he's my friend only because he wants to have a champion. Audience wants to make a pygmy tree out of me. And you all just talked about a woman standing 5 feet behind all of you as if she wasn't there. Is it me or something has changed?
It's a long, long story.
Anyways,
We were told
Yes.
we had to do things differently or people would die.
do I think we should focus on our mission because there's more people at risk than just that one child? Yes, I do. we should be more focused on trying to actually do what we're supposed to be doing here instead of saving civilians and getting ourselves caught? Yes.
Okay, but you can't be flippy floppy on it then. You were starting
Well,
to
it was
lead
already
me away,
happened.
and then you just were like, nah, fuck it, turned and attacked.
No, I threw
Without
my
giving
smoke,
any
okay?
warning.
I had to do what I had to do. Okay, you know what? I won't be flippy floppy anymore. My decisions will be more precise on our mission. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, I assume that's how you wanted to think because of how it's been before. But now, I don't know. You're all about your god and everything, so we don't have much time
Not
to
all
talk
about my
after you
god.
save
I'm
me.
actually, if you didn't realize, Toby, I haven't talked about my god at all since we got here. I'm very much about helping
Well,
Fisher
obviously-
accomplish his mission.
Obviously not when we're here, but in
Are
other
you
missions.
focused on helping Fisher? Because I haven't noticed that.
Well, I mean, not precisely. I've been focused on us surviving, and doing our mission. The Fisher stuff goes along with it, but you know.
Tobiashi, is your mask down right now?
Oh yeah, my mask is down
Okay.
because I was working on the orb.
Then you have the you have a translation that appears in your mask. It's your ball saying, "And next time, try not to kill my vassal. You did shoot a lightning bolt right next to him. How can he give me tributes if he's dead?" You see
yeah.
this translation appearing at the bottom of your mask.
Well, we'll talk about that another time. I look over to the orb real quick. We need another tribute soon. Anyways, yes, this is what I've been thinking for a while. I'll start helping Fisher more, but we do need to focus on this mission because there's more lives at risk than just random people. I'm sorry if it's too serious or too stern or that. Yeah, it's a child, but still.
I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like, we're in a much worse situation now than we were before because we stepped in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
It
I've
was-
already caused a scene once before. I don't want to do it again. I want to be helpful more than I have been. Like that whole thing with the other bot that we had to knock out. I don't want to do that again.
We're fine. We just need to be. We just need to be more careful. We need to think more before we act, and we need to realize that. I know we're adventurers, but we can't save everyone. We can only do so much while we're here right now.
As you say this,
Exactly.
you see the barrier of the tiny hut just starting to.
All right. Anyway, let's get some sleep. We have a long day of travel tomorrow. Got to cover a lot of ground. We're gonna be somewhat racing the news over to
Yeah.
the train station to leave this island. Hopefully, it won't have reached there. So let's get some sleep. Got a lot of travel to do.
All right. I'll be scribbling the notes on a piece of paper that's in my scroll holder, and then putting it back in there after we're done and get ready for bed.
Don't we have like a approximately like 6-day journey?
So, to get to the little lost station at near the mountain, it is a 58 miles walk. On average, you can cover 24 miles. Arunak walks a little slower than this, but if you taking him up or unsummon him when morning comes,
He can ride on Magna.
Yeah. Oh goodness, we tie him up to the side of Magna and just. So that's to simply get to that point. So you have a nearly 3 days walk to get there. 2 days and a few hours. And then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Another 32 miles to go back to the actual train line. Or you can try and go completely off-road and bypass this one, but that's gonna be even longer. Off-road with a few rivers to cross, along the way. So it'll be up to you to decide what kind of road you want to take once you get to the next station. So, as you're deciding all of this, you have Suchet that still asks, are there any more companions that I'll have to take into consideration?
Oh, well, there's my orb, but he doesn't get out much. He's in this thing. He's this little elemental dude, but don't worry about him. He's always with me.
Don't break his home. He gets upset.
Yeah.
And
Also, audience, I need to talk to you about that later.
As many people do when you break their home.
Also, I've got a roommate, but you won't have to interact with him, so.
Oh, well, that's a shame, but all right.
It's really not.
From what I know, he's kind of a dick. But anyways.
Oh, now goes, oh, you're talking about that thing inside of you. I thought you were talking about the worm. You also have a worm?
No.
That
He
was
has a
the other
child.
thing I was being intentionally vague about.
Nice job, Onek.
But it also doesn't need to come out. But I'm trying to actively not bring it out.
You know what? Really thinking about it, Fisher is the most responsible man, question mark, in the world. Just not whipping his worm out whenever he feels like it.
Alright, I gotta go take a piss.
Remy, you have a little cat thing too, don't you? Cat friend?
Yeah, that's like a normal familiar.
Yeah.
But I think she meant it before, but just in case, like Remy just holds up his arms and suddenly appears.
Ah, yes, I remember him. All right, well.
That's everyone, though.
All right, well, apparently, I hope so, because apparently there was one I wasn't supposed to know about. Okay. Well, then, I wish you all the best of night, and I'll take that corner over there. She walks to one of the... Although there's no corner inside of a tiny hut, she just...
I was about to say, it's just it's a circular hut, mate.
She goes to one side, and she mostly turns around facing the outside, but you can still see that she sits down cross-legged. And Remy, you recognize the cantrip she casts. It's the minor illusion, but she casts it in a way that doesn't necessarily let you see. But you do see that it's emitting a faint light, a faint silvery light. But she seems to be focusing on this for right now.
Alright. An's like, alright guys, just all pick your she said quarters, not really quarters. Pick your spots. I'm gonna take the spot near the door in case I need to jump up and, save everyone.
There isn't a door, it's just a It's a
Every part of the
perfect
hut is the
dome.
door.
that you can just walk out of.
Okay, well, I'm
And-
taking this part.
Okay.
I will not get too close. I'll just take my own spot.
Maybe takes the spot next to audience.
Yeah, of course.
Technically, there are 2 spots next to audience because it is a circle.
He takes his spot behind the audience.
I will just ominously loom over everybody.
Standing in the middle of this.
It's okay. Magnus also ominously looming.
Alright. The only one that
Or not
hasn't...
to stand still for the whole night.
Yeah, well, it's difficult to see when he's resting and standing. It's like a horse.
Oh, I'll also tell Magna about Cuddles in case, so he doesn't get freaked out if Cuddles returns. Because again, I feel like elemental creatures might see Cuddles differently because of what I sensed from Cuddles. So I'll let him know so he doesn't freak out.
Oh, Magna does ask a few questions because there is a sense of something different where you are, and she does let you know that it was harder getting through. Something resisted, as if there was a powerful influence, something creating interference.
Interesting.
So, Kobayashi, you're the only one who didn't say where he was sleeping.
Oh, so we're in the hut now, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a 10 feet by 10 feet. It's a 10 feet radius sphere, so 20 feet in total.
I'll sleep by the door.
There are no doors.
There's
it's
no
a
door,
sphere.
Right? There's no door. Okay, then
There's
I'll
the
sleep.
edge. You have
Us.
as things stand, it looks like we have some of the cardinal point taken. Sachet is probably at one of them. Audience at another one. Remy sleeping near audience. Fisher somewhere near the middle. Jorg, yeah, that's right. Jorg also. Where are you sleeping in all of this?
Is there anywhere left by the side?
It's a sphere.
Yeah.
It
Well,
has infinitely many sides.
yeah.
There's still space.
There's still space.
Y-
Yeah, I'll just take a spot.
Yeah, Magna takes a good amount of space, and she's probably to one side of audience. Remy has established that he's going on the other side, so there's probably a quarter of the sphere right there that's been taken.
I'll sleep next to Fisher.
All right, and Jordan.
I'll sit next to Toby.
All right. So, since, well, those were on guard right now, so Fisher, and I think audience wants to take a moment to also take a watch. Roll.
No, I don't need to. Magnus taking watch.
Okay, well, perception roll for those who take watch.
Okay.
I'll take a watch. Sure.
That is +5 for Magna.
Do I get advantage because of my dog? I did get a non-natural 20, so I'm probably good anyways.
That's a 19. Magna.
Okay.
I got an 18.
Okay. And Jorg, you said you also wanted to take a watch?
Yeah, I'll take a watch. I got a 20.
All right. Well, it's mostly all in the same, mostly at the same place. So eventually, everyone falls asleep one after the other. Even Sachet eventually falls asleep. Fisher, you have this moment of where, quiet. It's it's kind of good, but also taking into consideration where you are, it's slightly even more ominous because as the light dimmed outside, you just saw the edge of your vision just go smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're completely in the dark.
Mhm.
You have this moment of, yeah, that's right, there's no moon here. So you can't see the moon from through all of this mist. So it's really a completely black night. Something that happens only every few years outside of this place. So it is a little bit stranger, a little bit weird. And unless you took the time to make a little fire in the center of this hut, you are in complete darkness. So did you make a fire? So Shay did take everything that was needed to make a fire.
The tiny hut is climate controlled,
Yes,
right? If
but
I
it is
remember.
not illumination controlled. Sorry.
Uh-huh. I don't think I would have.
Okay.
Just because
Well, then
we
general
can
question
see
would then
out of the hut from
you can
inside.
you can see
right?
out the outside.
Can't see in.
Depending on what the person wanted, it can be completely opaque. And yes, Shay would have
Can-
taken into consideration
would-
to hide the place.
Light go out.
If she didn't,
Like if you had light on the inside and it was opaque,
I don't.
would the light leave? And if so, would it look like just a weird, like glowing dome from outside?
I don't believe the tiny hut lets the light outside.
What about the smoke?
It's
Yeah, but it just dies.
Just gonna kill us?
Nobody
with fire
wakes up.
smoke? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have lit a fire, because then that'd, mess with your night vision.
Makes sense.
Oh, sure, it was saying this. Forcing the distance around the above and remaining stationary to the end. The spells then leave the area. 9 creature of medium size or smaller can fit inside. The spell fall if it's include larger creature or more than 9 creature. Higher than the dome. Cast the spell can move through it. Spell. It is. The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry. Regardless
if you
of
skip to the end,
all right.
it's opaque from the outside but transparent from the inside.
Yeah. No. So.
I figured as much, but I was trying to figure out where the line was.
Yeah. No. I'd say. The light wouldn't leave the dome. You'd be able to see inside where you're walking. You'd be able to probably also hear this familiar sound because it can be reassuring to have something that is known, like sound of crackling fire. Hold on.
I think I wouldn't light a fire because I feel like it might be comforting, but it would also at least slightly hamper my ability to take watch.
Okay. So, once everything is quiet, once the edge of your vision has been diminished to the point of reaching the edge of this dome, and most likely only be broken by, I'm pretty sure Remy took his lantern and at least opened it a little bit to let a little bit of light out.
Maybe does every night.
So there is a little bit of light coming from Remy's lantern, but it's not creating any smoke. And because of the way that the tiny hut works, it does give a little ambiance inside of this place. Everything goes quiet and everything is calm. Unsettling calm. And then the calm gets interrupted by that also lovely little voice inside of you. Going, you really need to get your things together. This did not go well in any way. You have Bird Brain, who just starts screaming at people, trying to get them. You have Flightless, who always goes by his own lonesome self, trying to do something without telling anyone. And there's the Jitterball over there, who's only always trying to do something, but never fully gets through it. They nearly got us killed this time. You at least had a good sense of not staying in the middle of this place, but then you completely forgot about the gates, which would have been closed. They would have caught up with all of you by the time you got there. And who knows what would have happened. If Sev hadn't been there, that's what would have happened. And now, because of that, you lost a big advantage, because they might not know why we're here, but they'll be looking for him now.
What would you have done?
Think before I acted.
Okay. You've had time to think. What would you have done?
We had been made. But at least I can give you that. You had the proper response. We knew that they weren't looking for us. It would have been difficult, but you might have been able to talk your way out of this, simply by the fact that we are not the group they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But they almost got us killed, shoved down a small hole, and I'm not wanting, or even finding it remotely attractive, the idea of spending the next 3,000 years forgotten in a small dungeon with only your corpse as company.
Nah, I'm sure the wizard would find something special for you to do.
Oh,
Maybe
that's so
take you apart,
reassuring.
run some nice experiments.
That's so reassuring.
Yeah, well, I don't. Everybody's, kind of a little bit on edge.
That's understandable. The real thing is what you do with this. Do you think before you act, or you just throw yourself on this nearest wall until your head bursts?
Well, that's not a
Are you really
lot
going to tell
easier
me
to
that
say.
Brainless over there was doing something different? If he hadn't had a sword, he would probably have tried to headbutt his way through that machine.
Yeah. It's just I don't I'm not great at leading people. What am I supposed to do about it?
Learn a new skill.
Yeah, fair enough.
You hear this voice from right next to you, Fisher. Who are you talking to? It's a shade that's asking you this question.
My roommate. You know what? Shit. What are they called? What is?
A parasite.
No. Docents.
It's. Well, I don't have a whole lot of information about them. I know they exist. I know they can usually grant a lot of skills, but I've never heard about one arguing with it.
I've got a sentient docent.
I guess it makes sense. Sentient construct, sentient docent.
Yeah. He is most often rather unpleasant, and even more so when he's right.
Oh, that's an admission you're gonna regret one day.
My question is, when
Had
do
to
we get
make
to
it at
talk
some
to
point.
All right, well.
Let the rest of the group talk to Tyrannid. What the?
Well, he's been polite with all of you so far. Tyrannid, he's been very polite with all of you so far. When you've
I
been
don't
talking
believe
to
it.
him.
You want to meet a worm?
That's okay.
Like-
I don't want to force you.
At this point, you've earned it if you want to.
Well, sure.
Assuming you're not now going to ditch us because we're friends with Civ.
Well, you did give me a lot to think about. And records are not complete with him. There are a lot of traces that the worst of what is being said about him is true. But also, if all he had to work with were bad puzzle pieces, then of course the end result would have been a bad image.
I will pull out the box and scroll through until I find Terry.
Well, you find him very active, as you've eventually deduced. This is the middle of the day for him.
He's built a home gym in there. He's getting his pump.
No. You see that he is very hard at work learning your language and refraining himself from creating new words with your vocabulary, with your alphabet. He seems to be doing well. Although some of the association he's made sort of betray the fact that he is, alright, learning your language. And of course, he can't see, so descriptions are weird.
Oh, yep, that's the worm. That's Terry. I drank an experimental potion made by a gnome and blacked out for a bit, and that came out of me.
I didn't know that this was possible.
Yep, neither did I.
Terry turns to you, and you see a whole bunch of stars appearing in front of you. Sachet immediately answers, can he understand us?
He's trying to learn common.
Okay.
What'd he say?
He wants to know who I am.
I'll try and explain it in common with or you know what? You know minor illusion, right?
Yes.
You can introduce yourself to him with it.
Oh.
We'll see how good his common's coming along.
All right. So I use the spell to voice it out, or
Spell it out.
spell it out. Okay. So she used the minor illusion to form the her name written out. And she asked herself, what is his name? He takes a moment and he writes down his nickname is Terry. But he's not sure of his name yet. Terry. Okay. I hear you have a very intriguing origin. Are there more like you? He answers, I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, that's very intriguing.
He is some form of aberration, though.
Oh, well, it makes sense. You just have to look at him. And the simple fact that he can use magic sort of betray that he's not a beast. And he could be considered a monstrosity, but that's just being rude. Oh, that's very interesting and very intriguing. She writes out to Terry if he ever wants to ask questions, if he's curious about anything, he can just ask her and she will be glad to answer any questions he might have. Immediately he answers one thing. Well, two. The first thing he says is, I'm going to think about it. The second thing he says is, why do you have two glowing dots in the middle of your face? She takes a moment. She spells it out. They were a gift to replace those I have lost. Terry seems very confused with this answer, and he goes back to his things.
Do her eyes not look normal?
They always glow a shade of more pale purple. It's not a bright, powerful glow. But the only time that it didn't glow was when she wasn't conscious. And the only one who has seen the color when it's not glowing is Jorg. So from what you know, there is the Dark Elf have glowing eyes, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same kind of glow. There's probably something magical about her eyes.
Yeah. Won't press her on it.
Well, that was a very intriguing conversation.
It always is with him. Like raising a kid, but the kid's smarter than you are, but it still doesn't know anything. And also, until recently, you can't talk to it. So it's been... Also, you yourself were never raised as a kid, so you don't know what that's supposed to look like.
Well, I can see how all of these can make intriguing challenges. Well, he seems like a good person, if you can use that word in this circumstance. So maybe you're not doing that bad of a job.
I'd like to think so. I haven't really pressed any moral quandaries on him, so,
Well,
I haven't really had a chance to test it, but he hasn't seemed ever really anything other than curious about stuff.
well, you didn't abandon.
Also, he's a little scared of Raimi, but I think we're working on that.
Well, I can see why a warm creature would be afraid of a bird creature.
Yeah. Also, there was some like your spell that he got. It's not important.
Yes, well, like I said, at least you're there. It's more than some people can say. Some people have to go through their entire life, and no one's ever there. At least you're trying, at least you're there. That's more than some people have known.
I figure it's the least I can do.
She gives you a small pat on the shoulder when you say this, and you can't help but have this moment of, oh, she did say that she was placed in front of an orphanage when she was very young.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I'll leave you to your inner conversation. She goes back where she was, sleeping. Taranad simply adds, well, that was a lovely conversation.
That's sarcastic.
I don't know. You tell me. You suddenly seems to have developed whole new ranges of skills that you like to flaunt in front of everyone else. One thing you do notice, Fisher, he didn't use a demeaning name on her.
Hmm. All right. Okay, what skills am I flaunting?
Oh. Never mind, I take it back.
Obviously, his ability to pick up women.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
Right.
The terror is.
As this conversation probably drags on for a few more minutes, as Terranad is providing you with emotional support. Well, anyway. Throughout.
Interesting way to phrase what that is.
Emotional antagonization.
Yeah.
He's creating background
He's
noise.
negging me.
He's creating background noise throughout the night.
How does it feel to have a Karen inside of you, Fisher?
Not a Karen. He's a pretentious college
Jared?
professor
Oh, okay.
Terranad would
that
probably
gets roped into teaching undergrads and really hates it.
Terranad would probably the first one who would love arguing with a Karen until she feels like she needs to beg for mercy. So, more time passes. Eventually, you notice that Jorg is waking up and taking a shift at looking outside.
Yawn. Oh.
You sort of look down and you notice a little bit of the frost that's accumulating everywhere. The snow a few days before hasn't completely melted off in the forest, so there are these reflective surface. Fortunately, there's not a lot to reflect the light on, but it does give you a little signal, maybe an hour in of your watch, when you hear sounds like there's several people walking in the snow. Well, shuffling would be a better way to say it.
No thanks. I'm not. Know about the zombies.
After a moment, you have your confirmation that it's probably that, as you hear some of them just go, and you hear it go louder and louder. After a few moments, you see this group of 6 zombies just arriving near the edge of the dome, and one of them just puts his hand on it and sort of rubs the dome as he's sort of trying to push in. Of course, it's not working. Without magic, it's impossible to penetrate the dome. And you've never heard of a zombie who can actually cast a spell. You're just hoping that this isn't the first one you ever encounter that can actually do this.
You never know. Not with this island.
One after the other, they all bunch up around the dome and they're trying to push in. The dome holds. They stay there for a while. Probably audience Magna just awakens you, just warning you that if they don't go away during what's left of the night, you might have something to deal with in the morning. And still groggy, but looking out with one eye, you can see these zombies just and sliding across the surface of the dome slowly.
I'm so glad we have this dome.
They keep doing this for 30 minutes, an hour and a half, always accompanied by these vague, distant moaning. Right before the 2-hour marks reach, where you'd normally be going back to bed, one of them starts moving off. Then another one. Then over the next 15 minutes, they all leave. Now you get to go back to sleep with that image in your mind.
So close.
Eventually, you start, well, Magna and Fisher, you start seeing the gentle light of morning on the snow. It's very faint originally, then it starts growing and amplifying the little light that actually shines through from the sun. You notice that it is snowing. Not a hard snow, just a very gentle, and in any other circumstances, you'd probably consider this a very fairy tale type of snow. It's gentle, very small, very fine. Just a small breeze in the morning comparing to the howling winds of the Mistle Island chain. But still, it's enough to accumulate a little bit. You have this thought of, damn it, if it accumulates too much, it's going to slow you down as you're walking. But this is when you all wake up, and you all have this very rude awakening as 8 hours has gone by, and suddenly the dome just and the chill of the morning just gets in, and you oh yeah.
Brisk.
It's like taking a cold shower in the morning.
But who got those
Wakes you up.
rings? I thought we had the rings on.
We have to attune them.
Yeah, if you didn't attune to them, you wake up in the morning with that chill. The
Is it
just
cold
didn't
enough
attune.
to like hurt, or is it not worth attuning that yet?
you won't lose hit point yet, but it's cold enough that you see your breath.
Those are some perky nips there, Toby.
Mm.
You know, it's cold out here, man. I don't have any shoes on. The colds from my feet go right to my nips. They're as hard as glass right now. We could probably cut diamonds. Anyways,
All right, I'm gonna call Civ.
where do we start
Let's start packing up and get ready to go. I'll pull out my orb. I'll give Civ a ring.
As always, he answers within the next 6 seconds. Yes, I see.
All right.
You seem
just
to
want-
be in good condition.
Yes, I just wanted to check in, make sure you were able to make it out of the town.
Yes, making out of the town was the easiest part. Now I have to make sure they are properly thrown off your scent. This might take me a day or two more.
All right, well, best of luck. We're going to start making our way towards the first waypoint. Should be a couple days till we reach that, so.
Very well. It is good strategy. If we board the train before the final point, we might be able to skip the guards at the entrance of the station. The train would arrive directly at the train station, and from there we can probably simply change train. I was going to suggest it, but since you already seem to have talked about it, I'm glad to see you are considering every option and possibilities.
Yes. I know it was a rough entrance, but just making sure Khan did make it there safely and is set to go at the station.
As best I know, he is. I had to leave him in a hurry.
I assumed, but he was safe when you left him.
Yes, he was. The train was just about to arrive.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna assume he did theirs.
I'm pretty sure the moment you all started fighting, the attention went toward you.
Yeah.
Which was either very bold or excessively stupid. I will leave
both.
all of you to decide this.
I think some of us struggle with the idea of letting a child get murdered in front of us.
As we should.
Yes.
I didn't say it was a wrong decision. That's what I said.
No, I'm not saying you're saying it's a wrong decision. I'm saying that it's just like, yeah.
Anyway, I think that we struggled with the fact of letting a child get murdered in front of us.
Well,
But I don't think we knew the full abilities of what the millies and civvies could do, and it definitely was a tight spot.
Well, I'm glad to see that none of you were captured. And yes, I do believe that your idea to save a life was the best one. How you went about doing this might not have been that good, however.
I think we all panicked, or not panicked, but we felt pressured into making a quick decision because she was being tortured, and also the mother was giving us up, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to talk our way out of it.
Right? Randy is just at this point annoyedly tapping with a foot.
If anything, we did learn what they are capable of. And we'll know what to expect in the future if we ever do run into them again.
Yeah.
Yes.
We also know we can take down a civvy now, or one of the basic civvies, if we have to. Although, we did have help, but still.
Yes, I would surmise you have. Well, still, it is good that you have confidence that you can attack a melee and that you can survive civvies. I still would recommend you do not try the same thing with Maris.
Yes. We'll be careful. All right. Well, best of luck leading them on their trail. Just wanted to check in. We'll probably reconnect in a couple days. Contact us if anything changes on your end.
I will.
All right. Hang out and be like, all right, we ready to go? Packed everything?
Before we go, I think now is a good time because I think it should be part of our plan. I don't really want to say it in front of, why'd I forget her name?
Sachet.
I don't really say it in front of Sachet, but I think we could trust her. So, you remember when I brought out that scroll, when you guys first rescued me a while back?
No.
No, but I'm sure you did.
Did you though?
Okay, so I have an item that could help us map out an area with precision. So if I could get to a safe place in the tower, I could probably map the whole thing out, which would help us in two ways. We'd know where we might be going, and we can have some information back to bring back to the garden.
No, that would definitely be. Well, do you know what the ranges on it is? Do you have to be in the tower, or could you be like at the entrance or near the tower to do it?
I need to be, well, from what I've known, I need to be inside the place.
Mm-hmm. And how long does it usually take?
I think it only took us like 5 minutes last time we did it. Is that right?
Last time you pulled the scroll out and you had the plan on it, so as far as you know, it's near.
Yeah, so
it's near
instantaneous.
instantaneous.
It happens mostly instantaneously.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how it works. I did get it from my teacher But
Is it
it will
magical?
help us out. I haven't had much time to research into it.
I assume
All
it's
I know is
magical.
that, yeah,
I could just identify it.
all I know is I have 2 more uses in it, and I don't want it to get into the wrong hands. Anyone, it's hard for me to even tell you guys this at this point, but I feel like I
Maybe-
can trust everybody here.
Randy reaches into his bag and pulls out a scroll case.
Is it mine?
Sorry. Psych out
This
hat.
one?
Maybe this one.
Raimi demonstrates by he's gonna hold it out away from himself, but he's going to open it incorrectly, Draken.
Oh, gee. Yeah. I believe it was an acid spray, the equivalent of. So he opens the scroll, and then there's this mist of green stuff that comes out and falls slowly. But the moment that it touches the ground, you just hear this sizzling on the floor, and the snow melts.
What is that?
I assume it's a magically defended scroll case.
Okay.
Raimi gives a thumbs up.
I'll pull out my scroll case. It's just white with kind of like silver ends on it that screw onto the top of each side. You've seen it before, but this is my first time explaining it. I'll unscrew it, and I'll take out what it looks like. The paper. I'm not even really sure how it activates. I'm talking to the rest of the group. But I know when I think hard enough on a place, it gives me the schematics of it or anything. I haven't really tried it much because it only has 3 uses. I've used it once already. What does it exactly? Should I describe what the paper looks like, or do you want to?
No, go ahead.
Because I never got a description for it.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I was gonna say no. I don't think I gave you a description for the paper, but if you have one, go ahead. It's your object. So.
just one thing I'm thinking of. So it's kind of like a scroll, right? It pulls out on each side like a traditional Japanese scroll, but it is kind of like full of like silver sparkles, and on each end, instead of it being wood inside like the handle parts when I bring it out, it is kind of like a bright, solid yellow, goldish color. And that's what it looks like when I pull it out and show you guys.
If you are comfortable with me holding on to it for 11 minutes, I could cast Identify and see exactly what it does.
I mean, yeah, I think I could do that. I think I'll be okay with it. I don't really want to, but we have a bigger mission ahead at this point, so it'll help us to know exactly what it does.
I was also going to say, Toby, once we get back to the garden, I'm sure you could bring it and probably have its magic replicated if you're worried about the uses. I mean, it might cost us more to get another one, but you could probably at least have the magic identified and copied onto like a new scroll.
I'm not mainly worried about not being able to use it anymore. As to, I was told I shouldn't be telling anybody at all that I have this item.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of I was told it's very powerful and shouldn't be told to everybody, but we're kind of in a tough situation at this point, and
yeah,
I feel like it's useful.
Yeah, I mean, I
Sounds like
for
appreciate
everyone
the
to know that I
knowledge.
have it.
Danger about the tower.
Yeah.
And it was given to me by my master. I haven't seen in forever.
I will definitely say to have the full schematics of the tower would be
Yeah.
incredible.
That's been like
Well,
one of the biggest concerns on my mind about like the final stage is how we were gonna not
navigate
run
the tower.
into Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that it will allow me to do that. I'm not sure of its full use. I was kind of left in the dark of what it can do. Just that it's very strong, and I shouldn't let anybody know about it.
Well,
But it's
Okay.
needed.
we appreciate the information, and definitely that would be. I mean, it's up to you; it's your thing, but it definitely would be very useful to use and probably help us escape the tower alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't really want to bring it to the garden, and if anybody asks, I don't have this thing.
Okay,
If
we
you guys
won't.
could keep that promise.
We won't bring it
But-
up.
Yeah.
I, assuming he hands it over, I will start casting
Yeah, I'll hand it over to
Identify.
you.
Probably the oddest thing is it doesn't seem to have a name. You get different type of information about it. It's extremely ancient. It is artifact level power, so most likely made by a god at one point. It would be possible to replicate the paper, but there are several ingredients needed, which would be the main focus of a quest. That's how rare these elements are. You'd have to either find places where you could find those elements, which is elements for the paper, elements for the ink, the incantation themselves. Incantations would probably be able to be duplicated by the garden, but the components, the garden won't give them to you. You'll have to find them. And some of these components, you're guessing, will be excessively dangerous to acquire. As one of them you can identify is a scale from a gem dragon. A very old gem dragon, which there are none in the Mistal Island chain.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So not duplicating it.
What's it do?
It is something that draws in lost knowledge. It can give you any history-related information, meaning it's not limited to schematics. You could decide to draw out historical knowledge, so long as it's at least 100 years old. It can give you a full description of something. You could simply use it to know more about a machine. You could use it to know more about runes. You could use it to have, like Tobiyashi said, the full schematic of the place where this is. But you can also have the complete lore of the place. All of its history, everything that happened in there. It is a history-based thing. It can only do things which have been in history. So if no one has ever written down the schematic of the spire, it won't be able to draw it out. It's a mage thing, so most likely someone has drawn it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And even if things were added to the structure, because now it's part of the same structure, it will also be able to pick up on these add-ons. You could also use it to know everything about the history of the place. From the creation of the spire to today. Well, last 100 years anyway. But
Okay.
every time you ask for something, it's going to use a charge. You wouldn't be able to ask for the schematic and the lore on the same one. You'd be using everything that Tobiyashi has remaining if you want to have both information.
as Fisher is kind of like studying it or doing the identify spell, I'm kind of just like nervously looking over his shoulder and kind of like and then I go to his other shoulder. I'm like, what are you doing there? Just kind of like super nervous.
On the metagaming level, it's the equivalent of rolling out a natural 20 when asking me, can I find information about?
Mm-hmm.
And you're in the middle of a biggest library in the world.
Uh-huh. And it doesn't seem to have any ways to regain charges.
You have to make the paper.
Okay.
It has only 2 charges left because there are only 2 viable paper for this left in everything that Tobiashi gave you. And there's a whole bunch of note also written in there. It's not just that paper. You get the feeling that Tobiashi has shoved a few notes about things as he was traveling also. So there's some normal paper mixed in there.
Okay. Well, so you're right to be cautious about sharing this with people. I'll hand it back to him.
I quickly shove it back into the scroll, tie it back up, and put it into my vest that I have.
So it could, draw up full schematics. But it seems that's more a side thing. Its main thing seems to be it just kind of does the history research for you. So anything you ask it about, it'll be able to answer. But you are correct. You only have 2 charges left with it. And so we could use it to get a schematic of the tower, probably. We could also use it to get all of the lore about the tower. But those would be separate charges, and then that would be it. So, I think we'll leave it up to you on how to.
We could talk while we walk, I guess. We have a long way to go.
And we have a break to take.
Yeah.
Incidentally, probably, especially during the identifying time, since Rami realized it's like,
oh yeah, you can hand me the scroll.
It's like the Rami is just also going to ritual cast Phantom Steed so that he has his white tiger.
I believe it lasts 2 hours. Is that it?
It lasts for an hour.
An hour. Okay.
But it's also ritual casting, so
You can recast.
Wait, does Remy also give me the scroll tube of protection or whatever it is?
Well, I mean, you already put it away, so just like Remy shrugs and.
Only if you wanted to. I just kind of did it fast impulse because I'm not used to having it out.
It's always hard the first time you have it out. It gets easier.
No. Sometimes it's not as hard as you think it's going to be, and I'm kind of nervous.
Oh wow! All right, I think this is the.
Go to break.
I think this is the best moment for the break. It shows that some people need to have a bathroom break.
Yeah, bathroom break. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something you do in the bathroom. All right, so.
Get us out of here.
All right, yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's go to the break. We'll be back in 15 minutes, and I see Val and V is there. So we'll make her proud with the ducks. And back in 15 minutes. Bye. Hello and welcome back. It was about time because the conversation was getting weird again.
Toby was taking audience through different forms of unarmed strikes.
Yeah.
And there are relative pros and cons.
Yeah, skin tear strike. I haven't learned it yet though.
Not a monk ability, yeah.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
That's what the open hands level 17 ability is.
Yeah.
All right. So
Hits you initially, but then it kills you emotionally later.
Yeah.
you get psychic damage. Oh man, that would be a nice ability. You slap someone and it makes psychic damage. Oh. All right, so we dive back in with everyone talking about things with Sachet shouldn't know, and you're all talking about her and as if she wasn't there. So she feels
He's getting
very
used to
included.
that.
She feels very included. We have Arunak, who is dangling by the side of Audience's mount. We have Remy, who is proudly sporting his new tiger mount. And then we have everyone else who's just walking.
Although honestly, like there might be more room for Ornak on Ramie's mount, considering how much space audience has to take up.
The audience wasn't
I
riding
think
on
audience
his
is
mount,
walking.
so yeah, there's plenty of room for Ornak.
Well, that's the thing. Remy's mount is slightly smaller. Audience's mount is slightly bigger. But he's bigger and Remy is smaller. So, proportionally speaking, it's pretty much the same.
The audience isn't riding on his mount, so it's okay.
Okay.
He's just using
Well, I guess maybe Ornak would feel safer next to audience, even though
Magnus just here to observe and watch for zombies.
That's gonna be handy.
Oh, also, speaking about that, in the morning, I swapped Tyrannizing's assistance from investigation to perception.
Okay.
All right. What is our walking order as we leave? Because I assume we're leaving.
I thought you already left.
No, we did leave. So what's our walking order?
Just a big line, like movie
Big line.
shot, where everybody's lined up next to
With some epic music as we just travel.
Hi home. Hi home. Where we go.
No, I like better the version in the World of Warcraft with the dwarf. Hi-ho, hi-ho. Second verse follows the first.
But I want to be in the middle.
I mean, we could do like the bookend strategy where it's just like, you know, like the two mounted folk are on like either end and then everybody else is kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Tobiyashi wants to be in the middle of two beasts. So. And now that has been recorded in Remy's mind.
Alright.
All right, so who's in front? Who's in the back? We know who's in the middle.
I'll be in
Magna
front.
with Ornak on him, audience, Sachet, Jorg, Toby, Fisher, Remy on his thing in the back.
All right.
I did prepare protection from good and evil.
I also have that prepared.
Oh, okay.
I think I also do. Let me check.
I also have
do.
that prepared.
How do you have that prepared?
So, wait, how many people does it?
You can only do one.
You can only do one.
So, hey, that might be good that we all have it.
Yes.
Sachet also has it.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
It
Yeah,
is a
sure.
very strong
We
spell
all-
if you are fighting the things that you are fighting.
Mhm.
It's just sometimes concentration is hard to give up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
They
that
can
leads into
also
the second
moonbeam.
question, though.
No.
Everybody has it prepared, but do they have the material?
Well, Sachet does.
Well, okay, so
Holy water, powdered silver.
okay,
iron.
it's one of those weird things where technically you shouldn't, if you have a focus, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't list a gold cost.
Yeah.
But
the
it
thing.
consumes it.
Yes,
Oh.
so does it. The only rule is if it lists a gold cost.
Or,
Otherwise,
or
you
if the
have
spell
it
consumes it.
in the thing.
We have holy water though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I have plenty of it. I'm just making sure everybody has it.
No, we have holy water. Or
Uh,
I have holy water.
I have holy water.
Technically, as a paladin, my piss is holy water.
So long
Technically,
as you bliss
you're
it.
incorrect.
Technically, I'm incorrect. You are also correct with that.
Well, also as a dragonborn,
yes,
I feel like
have
to a certain
2
degree,
flasks of holy water.
being a dragonborn, I feel like to a certain degree, like your piss also makes holes.
Especially if you're a green dragon.
Listen, I'm lightning. It's more just staticky.
So it shocks people. It's like standing
Well,
on
you
the.
could say it shoots out like a particle beam. It's like
So it's like grabbing a electrified wire fence for cows. You know, it takes a moment, but then suddenly, oh man, my arms are getting all numb. So now you know why audience never touches its while he's peeing.
I don't know who's watching me pee, but okay. Good to know that we know that.
Well, are you sure you don't know?
Cuddles is watching you pee.
Oh yeah, that's
Cuddles
right.
is watching all of us. Oh yeah, Cuddles should be back.
Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, you sort of have the moment of, oh yeah, Cuddles, huh? Yeah. The thing that's odd is Cuddles was inside of the dome, which, according to what you know, is nearly impossible.
It's Cuddles. Listen. I assume Cuddles is because audience knows enough about Cuddles now. He assumes Cuddles is
Cuddles breaks the rules when he wants to.
yeah. He's outside some of the rules that he knows. Because that's what happens when you have godly power. All right.
He makes the rules.
So you're not sure exactly when Cuddles arrived, but you get the feeling that it was probably when everyone was not looking.
Yeah.
oh, really? When everybody wasn't looking. Like when they were sleeping?
Yeah, you know, there was a moment where Fisher looked in one direction and Magna looked in another direction, and then suddenly they both looked in the same direction, and Cuddles was in Sachet's arm. Aww. Now you know why it's called Cuddles.
Adorable. All right. So I guess we're just walking. Do we run into anything, or do we just walk?
Let's see. You run into an undead beholder. No.
Unfortunate.
He sneak attacks us with disintegrate.
Unfortunate.
Alright, so with this roll.
Would actually be a mech undead beholder because everything here is like a.
Interesting. And so As you progress, you have a very monotonous, yeah, that's better, travel in front of you. Always without the sun, always with that cold air. And even more now that you're at the base of a mountain, you feel the air coming down from the mountain. You feel that extra cold, unless you've attuned to your rings. But even so, you feel the wind. You just don't feel it enough to be cold if you have your rings attuned to.
I have my copy of Fisher's jacket still.
Yeah, okay. Unless any of you starts talking, the ride is very quiet. Everyone paying attention, and most likely the two at the front and the back making perception roll.
Yep.
That would be ideal.
Oh, hell yeah. 20 or 22 for Tyrannid.
Okay.
15 for Magna, and I guess I'll roll for me too, because I'm right behind Magna. And a nat 1 for audience.
So used, you're not even paying attention. You're just letting Magna do all the work.
Exactly. You get it?
Now, while this is happening, he's taking a little bit of time to stare at Sachet.
I mean, she's behind me. I don't think I really can. I feel like that'd be pretty obvious, unless I'm just walking backwards.
Well, you did roll a natural 1.
I might be at that point. You're right.
Are you in the
You know,
front
I
or the
just, I
back?
just like,
Are you
I
leading
just
us
like
in
walking.
circles?
I just like walking backwards. I like to look back at all your beautiful faces.
Aw.
Yeah, that's not what he was saying in the morning. But hey.
You know, make sure none of you have disappeared from behind me.
Yeah.
Listen, we did have to deal with that shadow wolves the one time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first day goes by, and like I said, a monotonous walk sets in. The scenery doesn't change all that much. Most of the broadleaf trees have lost their leaves, and now you're looking at what feels even more dead than usual forest. Fortunately, there are a few pine trees, a few fir trees, a few spruce trees that helps break this very gloomy surrounding. And although the snow usually would help, now it really doesn't help all that much because it gives a slightly phantomatic glow to the forest, always reflecting this very dulled down light from the sun. There are some moments during the day you even feel like you're just staring in front of you, and you've seen nights which were brighter than this outside of these isles. The reality of how people live in here probably even hits you more as you sort of realize, wow, talk about being shoved down a hole where you will never see the light of day again. Except now it's generations upon generations upon generations of people that have had to suffer what most would consider the most horrible prison cell that you can find.
What a great god of justice.
You don't know if what's inside of the barrier matters to that entity. It's a jail. And from what you've seen, there is something to that tyranny cycle. People do seem mean sometime in those cities. The moment they saw Sachet wounded, they started to call her a witch as you were leaving. You've seen people sell other out.
Yeah, because they're. I guess yeah, we've seen that. If my kid was gonna be killed, I'd sell out
No.
just about anybody.
But there might be something about this place. You're not sure. You haven't seen all that much, but you get the feeling that there is, because of how it started, there is probably something lingering on. I mean, you have proof with Remy that some thieves' guilds are not vicious murdering groups willing to torture a person they have managed to defeat but not kill. But they didn't seem to have any problem resorting to that. And you're reminded of this every time you look in front of you and you see Sachet's left arm, left hand, still mostly covered in those splinter keeping her finger straight so that they will heal properly. But then again, there are the innocents, those who haven't done anything, and those who remain good. Sachet is an example of this. Someone who has always tried to help you, someone who has accepted increased risk, even to her own life, sustaining injuries which many would have folded right from the start. She even went so far as to antagonize those torturing her. Valor can be found anywhere. But then you're brought back to the gloomy environment in which you are. And thanks to Fisher's role, and you did roll high enough so that even you, Fisher, notices it probably a second after Terranad, but you managed to save your...
Fast enough to save myself some condescension.
Yeah. You hear in the distance moaning, a sizable group moaning through the woods.
In what direction?
It feels like they're going in a parallel direction as where you're going.
Off to this, and they're off to the side.
Yeah, most likely as close as 100 feet away, but because of everything there is here, and zombies are not known for their good eyesight, you're mostly sure they haven't picked up on you. At least they don't seem to be changing direction. But they're following the path. Of that, you are mostly sure.
Honestly, we can probably outpace zombies. They're pretty slow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And that is also the advice Civ gave you.
That we were given, right? Yeah.
If you hear moaning,
Speed up.
just keep moving. If you hear shuffling, hide. If you hear shuffling and moaning, run as if your life depended on it, because it mostly does.
How do we know if it's shuffling versus? Oh, is it just it's close enough for us to hear it, or it's something else?
I think it's the other
thing.
the other
The
thing.
other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
From Civ's description, you get the feeling that moaning refers to the undead. If you hear shuffling, it's probably enforcers walking in groups.
Oh.
If you hear shuffling and moaning, that is a griever.
I assume it's on
Griever.
enforcer or something.
The griever is a type of machine. You're not sure exactly. Although it is used by the Spire. You're not sure if it's an enforcer officially, but it is used.
We were told not to fight grievers.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I mean, Colin survived one.
Connor
Assuming.
ran.
Yeah.
That's what I
Colin
meant by
Hid
survived.
in a lake under a boat.
God did not fight the griever.
He survived.
Yes, Civ told us we could survive. We just have to run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between fight and survive and run and survive.
you have a better
Many
chance of...
many predator-prey relationships will tell you this.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, so I think we just keep moving.
We just keep
Speed up,
moving.
right?
We'll just we can just like go on a jog for a bit. Do a little army jog.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
You
All right,
I don't
boys.
know what I've been told.
Double pace. I don't know what I've been told.
Maybe
Yeah, you sure you want to make
pick
that...
up this pace without making a ton of noise.
Yes.
And also, you sure you want to go through that whole song with a woman standing behind you?
She doesn't know.
Out of the songs, we could do the one about clubbing seals.
Sorry.
I don't know that one. I'm gonna be honest.
Actually, George doesn't want to do that one.
I mean, you could always do the one that my gym teacher did in middle school. Proud Mary. I left a good job in the city.
We could do the one from Ants, where it's just ants.
That's all they say.
Yeah, but it's just the regular version, but ants.
Oh,
Okay.
I like
I
that
think we're
idea.
just not gonna
Marching
sing.
one
It's
by
just
one.
the normal song.
Yeah.
Just we have to be ants to do it.
I think we're just
George
not
could do
gonna
that.
sing. I think we're just
Yeah, let's
gonna
no
run.
singing. Performance check, none fun.
I think we're not gonna be singing.
Instead of
out here.
performance, maybe we should do stealth.
Yeah.
I mean, we're running. I don't
Well,
think
a
we're
stealthing would
stealthing.
be slowing down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't go
they're on our
sneaky
trail.
and fast.
All right.
We're just dashing.
Doing it. I'm dashing.
All right. So you pick up the pace and...
Oh shit! I forgot to heal. 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Yeah,
in the
because-
morning... oh, yeah, okay. Actually, in the morning, if you need a little bit of healing, Sachet can cover you on this.
I made a good berry right before we went to bed too.
So you got 1 point.
Wait,
1 hit
what?
point.
No, wait, I did good berries right before our rest.
So the 10.
So
I
yeah,
hate
we
when it
need
does
those
that.
before.
All right. So, and Tobiashi, Sachet can cover you for a bit of healing if you want.
Give me 1 second. I gotta see how much I heal because it changed it. It made my shit weird again.
Imagine getting hurt in that last fight.
Right?
I didn't.
I had to get rid of my temporary hit points.
Yeah, I'll need a
Yeah.
little bit of healing. I'll need a little bit of healing.
Couldn't be me.
50 out of 71. That's where I'm at right now.
All right. Well, she
Alright.
heals you for an additional 15 points.
And I can heal you before bed. I had a few spell slots left. I don't remember how.
You could just heal me up to max. I'm at 65 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or we
I'll
could
give
just
you
leave
11.
you at 65. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, you can just
Yeah.
leave me at
That's good
65.
enough.
I don't know, what's the average damage of a disintegrate?
Listen.
Just
None of
more
us
than
none
that.
of us have enough health to be over the kill spell anyway, so
Isn't it 50 hit points for the
I think
For
he's talking about
disintegrate,
power
yes.
word kill.
yeah. Or power word kill.
power
100.
kill, alright.
None of us are over that.
Alright,
Disintegrate's approximately 70, I think,
alright.
on average.
So, and that probably drew a little bit of attention. Warlocks are not known to be healers, but she can. Some can.
Mm.
Yeah, it's rare but not unheard of, right?
Wink.
It's a
Makes
type of
sense
patron.
for what we understand about her patron.
Well, if you understand warlocks, you'd
Yeah.
probably... It would probably sell this out about what kind of patron she has, and
Yeah.
also about her own nature.
Sexual healing. It's
Nope.
You wish.
There are types of priests for that, but not a warlock.
No, for some reason I'm reminded of the women's shows that they would do during wartime for the soldiers,
Mhm.
to boost morale.
Yes, of course. No, I don't think Sachet is that type of girl.
Alright.
Well, on with our adventure.
Yeah, we're going past zombies.
So, picking up the pace, after a few minutes, Fisher can confirm that you are outpacing the undead. They might have noticed you, but they clearly can't catch up to you. So, after a while, and with what Jorg has seen during the night, after keeping up a faster pace for maybe an hour or so, you're pretty convinced that they have moved off and went after something else. That caravan of people that was behind you, following, now they're all dead. No.
Rip.
Sucks to suck.
Gotta outrun the zombies. I just gotta outrun the slowest person in our party.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for all of you, my horse can go 13 miles per hour at a fast pace.
Well, I can fly.
So,
True. I actually think Fisher would end up being the slowest because I think he has no added way of movement.
Nope. Other than a few misty steps.
damn. So I guess
What does a zombie want from me? I'm just
sure.
metal and plants.
You
They
know,
want them electrolytes from
They need
plant
electrolytes
juice.
and fiber.
they want the
Aw.
gooey insides.
Mhm.
So after that little,
Ooh, you're like Pop Rocks, but for zombies.
so after a few moments, you manage to distance the zombies, and eventually you start feeling the need to stop to eat a little bit. But you
No, I don't.
That's what good berries are for.
I tell my body no.
well, you can just eat one of Jorg's good berry while you're on the
I
run.
can. I also have rations.
The-
I can make some more. I can make some more of my famous frozen rations if we
That's
need.
what
There's
I
some
was
snow
thinking.
around us.
Yes, Jorg hands out good berries to everyone, but you see audience take a huge ball of snow and just pack it around his ration and just starts licking the whole thing.
Why?
You get both. You get both water and nutrition at the same time.
Wow. I'll stick my good berry in a little handful of snow and eat that.
It's cold.
Efficiency. It actually works.
Good
It
berry
actually
fill
works.
the water.
It works better if you use it as a suppository. You actually get more from it, but we don't have time
All
for
right,
that.
so when you try this, you're sort of reminded.
How big is the
Nope.
snowball?
Don't worry about it.
God.
When you decide to try the snow-covered good berry, you sort of remember now that the audience has an advantage over you. Dragonborn do not sweat, but they diffuse the extra heat through their breath. So you have this moment of shoving that ice ball in your mouth and go, oh, oh, and just
My teeth
audience
are
looking
hurt.
at you with a grin. You keep on going, and the rest of the day seems to go without problem. You finally find another place to rest, and
Assume we do a similar thing for the encampment.
yeah, Sachet takes a moment to gather everything, to send out invisible servant to gather some wood, to scout out the area. Wards are being placed, a dome is placed. Everyone goes to bed, and the same routine happens as the night before. Sachet takes a moment, again, sitting cross-legged, looking outward, and creating a small illusion between her hands, and she takes a moment to just watch it. You sort of get vibes that are a bit similar to Remy in the way she's doing this, the way that Remy does it with his own lantern. But she has her back turned on the group. So you can notice she's doing this, and you realize that there is a bit of a radiant light coming off of what she's doing, but unless you go up to her or take a peek above her shoulder, you won't see what she's doing.
I assume if her back is to us, it's a private thing, and I do not need to. I do not need to poke into other people's business.
Yeah, okay. So the night goes on, and once again, you find yourself in complete darkness. This night doesn't bring undeads, and you're sort of probably relieved of hearing sounds you're more used to. You actually hear an owl in the distance. And okay, there's also life, we know here. It's not gonna try and eat us. Well, provided it's not a giant owl. Audience, during that second night, you have a little odd dream, not a long one, where you find yourself entering a very familiar hut carved out of a hollow tree. You remember this hut. It's the hut of the little dragon that lives inside of you because of the bracelet. He's not there right now. But you find spread out everywhere a whole bunch of anatomical charts of dragonborns. And hints that he's trying to figure something out from inside of you. He's encircled, what you didn't know because you've never watched these very detailed charts, is probably where your breath weapon comes from. And the note, "That sucks," written under it.
Damn, didn't need to do me like that. Also true.
Then you see on another chart, he is trying to figure out how to boost that. And there's a whole bunch of drawing about lines being placed from where that breath comes from to different places in your body. One of them he's encircled several times. It seems to be your heart.
All right.
You
You
also
got to do more cardio.
You also have a chart of to do things. And you see on the list there's to go out and pick stones to keep covering your body. And you recognize the mosaic on the floor that is slowly being made as the scale grows on you. And a small note saying, I'm gonna have to remind him to pick up the pace on those things I asked him. Also, these old gems are starting to taste really funny. I wonder where he puts them all the time.
You don't want to know.
And on the side of the counter, you see a single gold coin that has been licked almost all the way through. He seems to be licking them as if it was candy.
Audience, about that note of what he'd been asked to do, he's like, I had the wiring. I forget what else I was supposed to do besides the wiring. I need to remember to ask about that. I never remember I needed something
Mm-hmm.
that I really thought I put down in my notes, but apparently didn't.
Oh, that will be an interesting
Audience will write down on the paper, remind me I have forgotten. I have wire. Like a sticky note. Post it.
Stick it on the fridge.
Stick it on the fridge. I need reminding.
All right. So after putting that reminder on one of the charts that he seems to be working on,
I put a reminder of have forgotten literally everything you asked me to do. Have been busy.
Okay. I'm sure he's gonna love that.
So he didn't pick me for my memory or my smarts. Because if he did, he picked the wrong person.
Well, apparently because of all the chart you saw, he seems to have maybe figured out a way to boost your breath weapon. So after placing that note on his things, you wake up just as you're opening the door.
Also, would you like milk from the store? Your fridge is looking up. I'm going out now.
He opened the door, and as you walk out, you wake up. Not in a jump scare, just a... Everyone's there. The dome hasn't been destroyed.
I assume he'll get back to me in a couple of nights.
Probably. That night goes without big problems. like I said, the most you hear during the night are normal wintry animals. Okay. When you wake up the next morning and the dome once again fades, if you decided to unattune to your rings, or you decided to stick with the heavy clothes, you have this extremely unpleasant blast of cold air. As the wind picked up during the night and visibility has dropped significantly. It's just this powdery snow everywhere, dropping how far you can see from 700 or 800 feet to barely 100 feet. And the cold, the biting cold. Ha ha ha. It's always even worse when there's a lot of wind. It's hard to say if...
I'm attuning to it.
So for an hour, as you ask audience if you can sit on Magna for an hour as you're attuning, you just have your heavy clothes on, and damn, your fingers are so cold as you're attuning to this.
I figured I would have done it during my watch, because like if I could tell it's gonna be really cold, I'll just attune to it while I'm on watch.
Well, the weather itself is not so bad. It's normal for how it is right now. So there were no indication of that it's going to be this cold in the morning. It's really the wind. The wind suddenly picked up and it became stronger and stronger and stronger. And you're not used to this kind of piercing cold.
It's starting to feel like home.
For audience, more and more. I remember
I wrap
those
my feet up in
mornings.
my silk.
You wrap them and wrap them again and again and again and again. You use all of your silk to make sure that you're just a little bit warm. Jeez, that's
It's
so
like
stupid.
all over my body now.
Have shoes.
Oh,
That's why he wrapped his own
Okay.
feet with his
That's
silk.
Toby, do you want shoes?
I wouldn't mind shoes. I wouldn't wear them all the time unless it got cold.
I
But
think I have some old boots in our storage space.
give me some old boots. That'll happen. That'll help. You know, you could have gave me those before when I rented them off that dwarf that one time.
Here's some old boots.
All right, I'll put them on, and then use the silk to wrap around my arms instead,
All right.
and then have that cloak that Fisher has on.
So,
I copied it. I don't have your exact one.
all right. So,
Well, I've got my ring on, so I don't.
I do
Yeah,
not.
give me
I
your
see
cloak.
how
Give
it
me
is.
your cloak too. So I have 2 cloaks on.
Audience,
Sure.
audience has not changed anything about his garments.
he's just
I have,
wearing
I have 2 heavy jackets on, and then the silk's around my arms and the boots on now.
He's just wearing a heavy cloak, and for some reason, he always has his mouth open. And then you feel the heat coming off of his breath. And of course, he volunteers hid the boots inside of the storage space. So you open the storage space and boom! Because it's cold. No. Toby actually gets blown up again.
This time for real. I do watch Toby though. I don't want him grabbing the bomb while he's in there. It's something I want to keep away from him.
Yeah, especially in this temperature, probably a bad idea.
Probably.
No, I just grabbed the boots
All right.
and any other clothes that looks like it'd be warm.
Well,
When I leave.
I don't know if I have a lot of other clothes in there. I think I just had a couple pairs of boots.
you do notice that Remy's flower seems to be wilting a little bit.
I'll breathe on it.
I want to see how my tiny blob in a jar is doing.
I think it's been okay. You fed it kind of recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been less than a week.
I guess I have to use my breath weapon for that. That's okay. I never use it anyway.
Oh, geez. I really, yeah.
Breath weapon?
Okay. Okay. Oh, goodness. I did not think.
I was told this. I was told that my breath weapon can be used on his flower. I was told this.
I did not think about this. So you find yourself in front of that little flower. You breathe in and you breathe out, and the energy of your breath comes out. But right as you're about to run out, you sort of feel that what you would describe second wind. You feel that thing that you see Fisher do all the time, that he suddenly gains several more action, and you feel there's more energy there. Do you use it?
No, because I'm breathing on a flower, and I don't want to hurt the flower.
We just got a lesson from Oranak about over watering things.
I was literally told to use my base breath on the flower every 2 weeks or so. I'm not gonna use some weird new breath on the flower. Never tried before.
And so, as you feel that swell of energy, you stop before it comes up.
Just etching.
Yeah,
Weapon.
just on the cusp of it. Mechanical wise, just as the dungeon master would ask you to make a constitution save, you stop, and you do not keep going on your breath. But maybe that's what all the chart were about.
Maybe. Anyways, the flower looked better.
It's gonna take a few moments. Come back in an hour or so.
Okay. I'll be like, Remy, your flower was looking a little wilted, so I breathed on it. I think it should be better now.
And saved.
Also, I'm gonna take a quick 30-minute relaxation on Magnus so I can get my breath back. Let's keep going.
Okay, yeah, sure. No problem.
Need a bit of a breather, as they say. Haha. Alright, let's keep going.
Yes, absolutely. I don't want to have to hand out psychic damage. So, that second day is even more boring than the first one. You have this moment at one point during the day where you're just walking and you're just hearing the crunch, crunch, crunch of your own step. You can't see anything because the wind is so powerful and howling and the snow just lifting up. You're not sure if it's actually snowing outside, but there's so much...
I mean, we're used to the wind.
Yeah. But you're the only one who's used to this much snow being carried by the wind. Reminds you of those lovely winters you spent as a child throwing yourself against snowbanks.
Yeah. When my father would just lock me outside for a couple nights, say survive.
Jesus.
Wait, what?
You get back in if you can dig yourself out.
Very Spartan upbringing.
Don't come back until you've grown some hair on your chest. But we don't have Slam's door.
Audience just thinks I'm totally spoiling Terry with like, why are you keeping him in a box? Just let him out. Make him survive
Audience
on his
came
own.
back. Audience came back with fur he'd ripped from a grown wolf, like stuck on his chest.
Look, boy, I have hair. So there's something so boring about this day. And because you can't see anything anywhere, you have several moments where you are caught with this moment of, is it something that's coming in the... Oh, okay, no, that's just a tree and the road is turning.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
Too quiet.
Too quiet. Suddenly, as you're watching in front, you see two eyes in the snow. No.
Let's call our
Scuttles.
nymph friend
Call her
from the
what?
last snow. Our nymph friend from the last time we were in the snow.
I don't.
You've never been in the snow.
Oh, when we were in the snowstorm.
Oh, you
The
mean
blizzard.
the pixie?
Oh,
The pixie?
Yeah,
Oh.
the pixie,
Yeah,
the
that-
snow pixie.
Again, let's not overuse certain like creature names that are significantly more dangerous than things we were actually interacting with.
Yeah, the pixie.
It was.
We were in the snow before. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, I remember.
eel, not eel. The serpent fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what I named him. It's in my notes
Wasn't
somewhere.
there something like Fred or something?
It was a very boring name. Anyway, I don't think he's here. Even if we.
Well, no, he wouldn't be here, but they live in the twilight, and they did tell you that you can always call on them if you're in a moment of twilight. So, technically, if they're present here and there's no reason why they shouldn't be, you might be able to call on them.
Yeah, let me just work on building the army of pixies to assault the spire with.
They're not actually pixies.
No.
They're, what are
So,
they?
fortunately, toward
Like
the end of this day, the wind dies down, and you can suddenly see more what's in front of you. The mountains have grown on your right, and you notice that something has been following you from the sky, but has a humanoid shape. Tobiyashi, it feels oddly familiar from your training.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if it's a NAF-10.
I try.
You mean they might have been watching over you during this day? This is why it was so boring?
Where am I at? What? Is
I
that?
just looks up at it. Let me fight things.
Yeah,
I want action.
Oh,
No.
I'll kind of just keep an eye on it, inspect it more, make sure nothing's gonna happen.
Is it dark enough?
4.
Can't they only fly in?
No, they need shadow to draw out their wings, but
Can they stay out once?
this is why they
Okay.
usually all wear at least a half cloak. So they always have somewhere
so
to
they can
reach
just-
and pull the wings out.
I see. Okay.
So, as this second day of travel comes to a close, and you find yourself once again creating your encampment, and
Boom.
We should reach the waypoint, I think, tomorrow.
that's the station, not the waypoint. It's
Not
the
the yeah, not the
and,
waypoint.
on
The station.
way.
We should reach the station tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't ran into any of those rebellion people or whatnot. I thought they lived out here.
I think it'd be rare to run into them. I don't think they're like large and spread out. I think they're very small groups.
So,
I was only saying because we heard about one of them being nearby. That's what they were looking for when they were.
Well, they're
looking
on
for
the
us, I
train
guess.
tracks, but I assume they're also kind of keeping a low profile since they're also being looked for.
That's true.
So, once again, you go through the same ritual where Sichet sends out the invisible servants, puts up the wards, cast a few ritual spells which you do not know, and you're not sure what they do, and puts up the dome. She goes in a corner. You see her create the same little spell that is making light. And if no one interrupts her, and you don't want to talk about something important between all of you.
You know, I think especially on this third day, like seeing it now for like the third time, just like well, after a brief minute and a ding, Raimi is going to like walk over with a gold coin generated truffle, and sit next to her, and as she's looking at the thing.
When you arrive, from your point of view, it looks like a small silvery ball. You'd even call it a moon. She's just looking at it, and it's emitting a small amount of light. You sit down and most likely offer her the truffle. And she has a moment where she just, hey. And she lets the spell fade out and gladly accept the truffle. Oh, that's a very generous treat. Can I help you with something?
Raimi kind of like looks at her hands where the image used to be.
Well, I like it. It's taken from the inspiration is the front of my book, and she'd say takes out her ritual book, which is fully armored. It's a warlock spell book. The symbol on it is a sunrise and mountains, but the rays of the sun has been plated on the book, so it's more of a rendering of the sun rays. There's no color in it, it's just the color of the metal, but it does depict a sunrise seen from in front of the mountain. It tells you, I just took the image of this and tried to imagine what it might look like with light, what the sun might look like. And she creates it again, and it really, from your point of view, it's barely the strength of what one of the moon in the sky can do.
Raimi looks her in the eyes and says in a child's voice, "Want to see something cool?"
Well, yes, why not?
And I guess it doesn't particularly matter because they're inside the dome, so he can just as easily make it the whole area that anyone could see if they wanted to. But Raimi is going to use Silent Image, and he is going to replicate the very first sunrise he ever saw.
All right. Probably those who are most surprised by this are the rest of the group inside of here going about their business, and then suddenly this flash of light emanating with colors and red and yellow, and probably have a moment of, what the heck? What are you? Oh no, that's right. All right, no one can see us outside of the dome. She has a very awestruck moment where she it takes a moment and she just stays there. For you, it's a very beautiful sunrise. Of course, even with a spell, it's not actually as powerful as a sunrise, but you can easily identify it. It's more like seeing a sunrise through a camera. After a moment, she just... Wow, what? Is it always like this?
Sometimes better.
And you have this every morning.
Well, sometimes it's cloudy.
And bam! Fisher ruins the moment. Oh, yes, of course. Wait, hold on. There are days without clouds?
Yes, ma'am.
Amy nods. Blue skies and sunshine.
What?
Yeah. Sky's blue.
Oh, that's an odd color. Why?
Oh.
Is that known?
Zach shuts
just-
up.
That's how it always is.
Yeah. I was about to say something, and then I was like, is that something that's known in this
Well,
world?
Tobiyashi, your
The
unique
god of the sky likes blue.
upbringing, being told many things from an exiled. He did tell you about exile fall, which is when an exile falls to the world, quite literally. So, it's the color of what's outside of the world. And he has told you this. It's the color of what is outside of the world. But it's being filtered through what you would probably consider being a protective layer around your world.
Okay. I guess I'll be like, from what I was told from a young age is that, is exactly so the exiles fall to the world, and the sun is what's coming through from the outside of the protective layer that's protecting the world. Is that what you just said to me?
No, the blue sky.
The blue sky. The color, why
Oh.
it's blue. It's the color of what's out there, filtered
Oh, okay.
by this protective layer around the world. Or at least
Okay.
it's the best way you would understand it when he described it to you. He said it's not actually
Okay.
a protective layer, but it's probably the best description for the way you
I've
understand the
gotten.
world.
All right. I'll tell her that. I'll be like, well, the blue sky is filtered in. It's what's on the outside of the protected layer of our world. At least that's what I was. That's what I understand it as. This is the color outside. There's a lot more stuff, but from my knowledge, it's just filtered. That's not the actual color.
Oh. For you, Fisher and Remy, because you've studied magic, it's one theory. It's never been confirmed that it's the right one, but it's one theory. So there's color outside of the world.
From what I know,
According to that theory.
What else can you tell me about the world?
Maybe with minor illusion makes a rainbow.
Well, I've never seen one from this close, but hey, sometime during the summer we can see them. Never this bright.
oh, there's a lot of things like stars. I don't know if you could see stars here.
Oh,
But,
yeah, I guess probably not.
I don't know.
They're very massive lights in the sky that we see from far away. So when it's usually nighttime,
they're actually pretty small.
Yeah, what
What
are
do you
you
mean?
talking about? Large?
they're small.
The lights,
Well, I mean,
they're like little
Little
pinpricks
dots
of
in the
light.
sky?
Yeah, they're little
Across the
dots to
sky.
us, right? But outside of the protective layer, they're huge.
I don't know about that. I'm not an astronomer.
I mean, from things
Like
that I've
little
read and
dots to
been
me.
told, at least. But yeah, they're little dots in the sky. We can make it simpler. Little glowing dots in the sky that you see at night.
And they're there every night.
Yeah. And if you see
they
one shooting, you can make a
patterns
wish on
if
it.
They mean something.
Does it come true?
I look over at Fisher when he was about to say something. Like, sometimes they'll come true.
Sometime.
Yeah, it depends on if you get a good one or not.
They're better ones?
I think it depends on coincidence, but
Fisher. Come
Fisher.
on, man.
And
Damn,
seems like
Fisher-
someone who appreciates
Fisher has like
the
he
more,
always
like-
has the fly swatter out. Just like
different
Bam!
approach.
hopes and dreams smacked into the ground. From stories I've heard and read back at my monastery, some stars can be better than others, especially if they have to be shooting stars though.
Where do they shoot?
Themselves. Well, they fly across the sky, so most of them are stagnant and don't move. And then once in a while, you'll see one just shoot across the sky.
Do you know
Well,
why?
They kind of move because as the night goes, they like move across, and then also you get different ones depending on the seasons.
Yeah, they revolve around us. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I
Fisher,
don't say
no one
that.
cares about your science.
Yeah, well, he said.
Well, you have to know it. so
That's
you can
not even
navigate.
science. That's just
That's just-
observation.
yeah.
But yeah, so it's a lot to explain. I don't know much about the sky above or the outside layer, but that's what we usually see at night, and what I've heard and read from books. We also live on a flat Earth, so.
No, we don't.
That I will not feel bad
Maybe,
about
like-
either.
I'm kidding.
Like Toby, suddenly an invisible slap goes across the back of your head.
No, I don't. I don't.
You see?
I don't actually say that.
By the way, the
Um,
Earth is a sphere. In case you weren't aware.
The what? The ground? Like the dirt?
Uh-oh.
Shard?
I forgot Jorg is a flat earther, so
No, because we're not on
there's-
Earth.
True. The
planet. We don't know what planets
Yeah.
are.
Shard.
The
Our shard. Yeah.
Well, you know what
It's
a
round.
world
Just
is, so
double check. It is a
Our
sphere,
world
right?
is a sphere.
Yes, it is a sphere. We saw the curvature when we were in the sky.
Okay.
and even more so, audience and Fisher, you've been on boats, so you know.
Wait, actually, we did fly past stars when we were getting teleported through the orbs.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Do we
know
know
if
those
that.
were stars.
Yeah, that was different though.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I guess it could have been that.
I don't know if we were in our plane at that. Well, we were in our plane, but we were. I don't know.
That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, they're stars, and they come out at night.
And
They look a lot like what how Terry was speaking.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll just
Yeah.
minor illusion some stars.
Those are
she looks at you, George.
constellations, we call them. They're like patterns that we make out of them, and we can use that to navigate. Which I don't know how to navigate with them, so don't ask me.
I do.
But, whoa.
Well, look who's a special boy.
Wow. Okay.
Alec.
Thank
And
you, audience. It's nice to be appreciated sometimes.
This time, audience kills the mood.
Oh,
I was being
yeah.
serious.
You know how
Condescending.
He's being serious. He's just saying it a real weird way.
Oh.
you know how it gets bright in the daytime, kind of around. Well, it doesn't get too bright, but it gets a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
In the daytime. So outside of the fog, there's a big yellow orb in the sky that creates light for us. It feels good sometimes. Sometimes it can be too hot, but
Actually, it's
you
white.
get burnt from it.
Yeah.
You say white?
Yes.
You could wear less clothes during it, and though, which is fun. Clothes are bad.
Maybe just listen
No.
to a brief like hand
Ditto.
under beak sigh.
Those are overrated.
An invisible hand comes from behind Tottenham.
As a hippie, I can confirm that clothes are overrated.
Yeah, I feel like people are agreeing with me here. Like clothes are.
I
Clothes
start
are overrated.
rubbing my head.
The only one who wears clothes willingly, it's Tobiashi.
Yeah.
Well,
Remy
Remy
has
also
a nice
wears.
cloak.
Okay, clothes are acceptable in social standards. You don't just want to be naked everywhere.
Lame.
People
Maybe
don't
just
want
because
you to be
Rainy repeats
everywhere.
in
Yeah,
audience
people don't
voice,
want to see you
lame.
naked.
Fleshy things have
Yeah.
bits
Or-
to cover up.
Yes.
Maybe if you're not confident in your body, you want to cover it.
Anyways,
You have a very strange world. And you come from a very strange place.
I think we're also just very strange people.
yeah.
I
We
will
might
say we're
just
not
be-
the most normal.
Well, that's as reassuring as not reassuring. Whew. Well, I'm not sure how much of this is actually true, because some of the things you said felt like a little bit too much. But, well, thank you for telling me about the world. For telling me about things that I've only seen in books.
Just you wait. You'll see them.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
You definitely will. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta close your eyes real hard and click those ruby slippers together. 3,
And there goes audience again.
She looks at her feet. What?
It's a story.
Don't worry, Master.
Don't listen to him.
Or just like pull out the dragon scale from your box and say, I wish with all my heart.
To fly with dragons. In a land of art.
If we just look at the sky and wish enough, a shooting star is bound to cross it while we're making a wish.
You know the problem. Never mind.
Alright.
Well,
Is the dude in the sky still following us?
no, he followed you for maybe 5 or 6 hours. Eventually, he just flew away.
Oh yeah, I would like to say every night that we went to rest before I went to sleep, I'd like to mess with the orb.
Our orb?
just-
Or like...
No. The orb that I picked up, the robot orb.
Okay.
I just
Wait,
want to
why
tinker
is-
with it and
why
mess
is
around
Toby
with it.
trying
Maybe
to
it's
hack
got
into
a
our
fucking
Toby, I really
GPS on it or something.
No, I
really
wanna-
don't think we can get it running again. At
That's
least
fine.
not this
I
flip.
still want to
Okay.
take it apart and see if I can put it back together.
I think you're missing about half of it for that, Toby.
That's fine. I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna discourage
I
learning.
believe in your dreams, Toby.
I'm gonna
That
try to
just
put the parts of the civ unit with the orb parts. Okay. I'm gonna try to repair it that way.
Okay.
You wake up and he's like prying at your chest trying to put it in.
Like putting it in his
I've
mouth
already got
and just
a
like
ball in
opening
my
it up.
chest.
All right, so, well,
Good luck
after
with
this moment, Sachet does look at all of you and thank you again, and tells you that
16.
there's a lot of things to think about, and well, she doesn't know if she'll actually get to see this. You all seem very convinced, but
I don't care if I have to give her my orb.
It won't work.
That wouldn't work.
The audience has already thought
She
about
already
that.
has my orb.
Yeah, audience has all trust me. Audience has already thought about that. It won't
If
work.
you hold her hand while you teleport away, you're just gonna disappear.
We don't know.
Rip her apart.
yeah, right. You want to remove one of her hands completely? Yeah, good.
Yeah, we don't know.
These are things good people do.
She
With a good
she does remind you again to not take excessive risk. It's just not everything you've told her is beautiful, and if nothing else, you'd at least given her that. But don't try and do something that might get you killed in exchange for something which most likely someone will try and prevent you from doing. If she was meant to leave, she reminds you of this again. If she was meant to leave, she wouldn't have been born with such a powerful and
Load of
unremovable mark.
BS. The only marks you have on you are the marks of abuse.
I don't know if that's the full better.
Well, we're here to make. That's basically what we're here for. We might not be able to do it now, and we aren't going to risk too much, but someone will come for you once we leave.
That's not. Never
I
mind.
ain't.
What do you
Alright.
mean?
Alright.
We aren't here to save everybody here. We're here to save a thing.
The beacon will be here, then we'll be able to come back someday.
Yeah.
Someday I wish upon a star.
All right,
And
so
wake
with
up.
this bright and cheerful thought,
God, Fisher. Such a downer.
you all go back to your night of rest, and Sachet has a whole lot of new things to think about and evaluate, and try and figure out what the image will be. And you do catch her looking at the book, sort of wondering, and probably Remy more than most. You recognize this look on a person's face because you've probably had it with that element of why can't I build something? Why can't I just create the most beautiful sunrise? Instead, you can only copy them. You sort of recognize a very similar look in her face as she's looking at her book. And you more than most can probably imagine, although it's probably not the right word, that she's trying to figure out how your image fits with the image that's on her book. Maybe there's a little hint of jealousy in the fact that she might actually succeed in doing this, although she's never seen that symbol the way audience has in his dreams.
It's tough to not be me.
And also, audience, for you, you probably have this moment of looking at her and realizing she might not know what a sunrise is, but all the clues you've been given so far, and the book, maybe there's not a lot of information about that god who thinks you might be worth it, but maybe she knows things about that god.
Probably. The god did say she was like a champion of or not. Well,
A
different. But
devoted,
audience would think of it.
follower
Yeah.
since before you were born.
Audience would think of it as a champion because that's how he thinks of things. Because that's what he is. He doesn't understand the difference between warlocks and. I mean, he does, but it's not like in the same sense.
Well, the champion would probably be her patron. Alright. So, with this, you all go back to bed, thinking about things. Audience, hoping that, yeah, little dragon inside of you will talk to you. But
Tell
unfortunately,
me what I'm missing.
this night, no dream comes to you.
Damn it, no dreams.
Damn, I don't get to roll a wisdom roll like Fisher and fail it like 30 times in a row.
Well, okay.
Yeah, let me roll
Hey,
a wisdom
no.
roll.
I've passed a few times.
Well, sure, make a roll if you want.
Okay.
I want to make a roll.
I'm right there with you, Fisher. I rolled an 8.
It's not that easy.
Right there with you, bud.
Okay, so you said wisdom, right?
You
Fair.
want to know
Rolled
if you
about
dream
twice
about
my
that.
normal.
I rolled a 6, so
Wow, man, you really have dreamless nights.
See, guys, it's not that easy.
Okay, let me just do it 30 more times and I'll let you know.
it's the sleeping wisdom curse, I guess.
You know, and I believe Tobiashi is proficient with wisdom.
Yeah, I don't know why you're rolling a 6 out of your Toby.
I rolled a 3. Wait, it should be. I should have rolled a 9 then.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like how are you rolling a 6? That was like a nat 1.
Oof. I rolled a 14.
Everyone.
That's not
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, but
No.
are you trying to communicate with your god or nature?
I'm trying to communicate with Sam's god.
Okay.
I'm trying to communicate with my
Let me
gloves.
welcome you in real quick.
I want to talk to that guy
It's
by the
pretty
fire
suspicious. Let me see it for myself.
again.
Just gonna hop in there, see what's
Unfortunately, I don't
going
think
on?
you're gonna have
Complaining
a lot
about
of
how
luck.
hard it is to talk to your
Alright.
god, so I'm just
I
like,
want to talk to Tyrannad real
Fine,
quick,
I'll-
please.
I don't think you're gonna be able to. My god can't reach this island very well.
Oh, I was gonna put him on hold for you.
Convenient.
Convenient.
So, with all of you, you have, for the first time in a long time, you get the feeling that maybe you were all relieving a little bit of tension and pressure, as all of this really ended up feeling like five brothers just teasing one another about different things. About life, and this is probably the most relaxed moment you've had since you've been on this island. And you've been able to move away from the stress of everything that's there. And so you go to sleep with this sensation of, funny enough, being more of a family right now than you've ever been before.
And Ornak is there too.
Just watching this.
He's so jealous. He's just like smoldering in jealous rage because he never gets to hang out with us.
Oh no, he,
No, he got to
I
now.
hope he's not smoldering. He's a tree.
he finds this very entertaining, and he just looks at all of you, just saying, "If they could only just send me back. I feel like I could get a nice trunk rub by a dryad."
Trunk rub.
If you
Damn.
want to go, just, like we could send you back.
Nah, we need
Take
him.
me with you.
Nah, we need him. Keep him here.
Talks about us not bringing him everywhere enough, and now he's complaining
Yeah.
Right.
about coming with
He's
us.
with
Oh,
us?
he doesn't have one of the cold ring or rings of warmth.
He's okay.
Is he-
He's
okay.
he's a tree.
He's a tree.
All right, I think it's a good place for today's session, Dan. I was gonna start next morning, give a few hours because that's when you would be arriving, but I think we'll leave the arrival at the station for next episode.
Probably good.
Sounds good.
I feel like there's a few people that are a bit tired, and this is why it's degenerating so easily.
That's the best content you could get.
No, I don't have a problem with this type of content. It's like I said, right now you feel more like a group of friends than you've ever been at any point so far. And that's interesting. That is an interesting development for the group. So, hey, I'm not gonna argue against this.
Hey, nothing like trauma to bring you closer together.
This was the issue before. Toby's just had too much trauma, but he hadn't shared it with us.
Exactly.
Now we're all sharing trauma.
Mm.
Well, then there's the fact that nobody asked anything about ask anything to Fisher in 3 days. You know, he just talked about this and we
Yeah, he let it out.
walked
That's
in.
good enough.
Nobody cares.
we care. We're just,
All right, so ending of stream, which means it's the sound of campfire. Ah, so interesting. Maybe just like what you're supposed to be hearing if you were making a fire inside of the hut.
Nah, we don't make fires inside of huts. Where's the smoke gonna go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you make the hut with a little smoke hole?
I think the hut's a complete sphere. I don't think it has smoke holes.
No,
It has a door.
No, it doesn't.
Just turn it on its side. Oh, it doesn't. Never mind.
As a-
The,
as a
the
corner.
barrier is intangible for those who were inside when it was cast. So you can just step in and out as often as you want.
Hmm.
Except
I
for
thought
the
there was a
caster.
little- Yeah.
Alright, so with this, tonight's episode comes to an end. I wonder what the title of this is gonna be. We are family. I don't want to get sued for cop.
Family.
Alright, so thank you for watching this episode. Thank you for... Well, I hope you enjoyed all of this sibling bonding time. And we hope you'll be there next week, next Wednesday or Friday, if you're watching this on the rebroadcast. And as always, if you enjoy the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also support the stream by making a donation, becoming a Patreon, subscribing on Twitch, and if you can't do any of those, simply spreading the word of this channel helps tremendously. And while you're at it, if you can leave at least a like on YouTube, it really helps a whole lot. No like on the video, you can get 6 views. 1 like on the video, you go right up to 35 or 38. So, hey, don't hesitate. Visit. Leave a like. And
donate me thermal paste.
well, let's go with donating the money, and we'll see about buying the thermal paste. Alright, so...
What do we want with money? We just want thermal paste.
That's a good snack.
No, you know why we don't want this? Because if we ask them like this... words. If we ask them this, I'm gonna have to open a PO box, and I don't want to. It costs something.
No, just give a bunch of random strangers on the internet your address.
Yeah. I can't go
Nothing
wrong.
bad will happen.
It always goes well.
Absolutely.
Everybody is a nice person that just wants to make your life easier and better.
Yeah, absolutely. By taking everything you have, it makes their life better.
Makes it simpler.
Simpler.
Delicious rhymes with delicious.
Items are overrated.
Yeah, personal possessions.
Oh,
They're
you
actually getting you closer
Can
to
I have all your
Nirvana.
magic items?
That's what I was gonna
No.
say. So I can take back all of your magical items.
Would we be closer to ascending
But
to
those
Nirvana?
aren't real.
No, you
Gain
just
extra
be
powers?
you'd just be happier.
Material
Yeah.
possessions are
Alright.
actually...
So
Next time on.
thank you for watching. See you next Wednesday or Friday if you're watching the rebroadcast. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Peace.